Welcome back to Bear Cave Watch Reviews. I am your host, Papa Bear, and today we're going to be doing something a little differently. We're going to be doing a budget diver comparison between two Invictas and two Nautis, which is a brand that was promoted by a certain subscription service. I've actually owned several of them, and I did a video very early in the channel about one that I got at a very good price. So today what I want to do is go over some of the specs of these watches, the pluses, the minuses, and just kind of see where they stand next to each other. There are four different types. Even though there are two pro divers, they're different in each way. So I just want to go over some of these with you and see which one is a better fit for somebody who's just looking for an inexpensive dive watch that's water resistant, looks good, not too big, not too small, and is gonna do the job for a while. So that's what we're gonna go over today. Now, we're gonna start with the Nautis Dive Pro 200. This one has the blue bezel insert, and I've actually put it on a blue silicone strap that I liked better than the leather strap that it came in. I don't particularly care for divers on leather straps, so this one I had to change it up and I wanted to match it, so it's on the blue. I'm going to go ahead and get my trusty calipers and let's get this going here, zero this out. And let's just take a look at some of these dimensions. So we've got about 44 case size. The width, not counting the Cyclops, it's going to be 13.2. If you add the Cyclops, it will be a little bit longer, or a little bit bigger, sorry. Lug to lug, 49.9, so we'll say 50, and a lug width of 20. Okay. Now, this one in particular has the white dial, as you can see. Very simple markers, and they are all applied. They do have lume, not very good lume, I will be very honest about that. And you do have the red second hand, as well as the framed date window at 3 o'clock, little chapter ring in there showing off this seconds or minutes and 5-minute intervals. It does not have a signed crown, as you can see, just a very simple crown. Both sides are polished pretty well. And then the back, of course, it says stainless steel, the Japanese quartz movement, 20 ATMs water resistant, 316 steel, and it's got the Nautis name on there. Now this watch in particular is a little bit chunkier than the Invicta Pro Diver, and because of that I think it wears very well on the silicone strap. I have tried it on the regular leather strap and it's kind of just not my thing. I don't have a strap, a steel case strap for this one, as it doesn't come with one. I've reached out to Nautis for it and they told me to upgrade to the next size watch, which I'll show you in just a little bit. So not a bad watch. Very nice looking, simple. Like I said, the lume is nothing to write home about. It's just not very strong. Let me see if I can just give you a lume shot here real quick, or charge it up a little. No. But anyway, not a bad watch for the price. Now they retail for over $129, $139. I got this for much less than that. Even at that price, I think that it does give the Pro Diver a good run for the money, as they both have mineral crystal, even though Invicta calls theirs the Flame Fusion. They're both stainless steel, screw down crown, stainless steel case, screw down back. So very similar in specs to the Pro Diver, which we'll show you in just a minute. So that's this one. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is the trusty 8926. Okay, so next up is going to be the Invicta Pro Diver 8926 OB, and this is a watch that most people either love or hate, but regardless of that, it is a very, very good bang for the buck diver. As far as affordable divers is concerned, you can pick these up usually anywhere between $50 and $89 everywhere, basically. So this watch, stainless steel construction, 316L stainless steel, exhibition case back, Flame Fusion mineral crystal in the front, It's got the Seiko NH35 movement inside, so 24 joules automatic movement, hacking, winding. This says it's water resistant to 200 meters or 600 feet. I have taken this one in particular with me into the ocean, in the pools, lakes. It's gone hiking. This watch is a workhorse. It does have the Cyclops, but let's go ahead and measure it just to see, get all the measurements on this one compared to the Nautis. So 40 millimeters, that would be a big watch. Not by Invicta standards, but 40 millimeter case, thickness of just over 13, not counting the Cyclops. Lug width is about 20 millimeter, and lug to lug on this watch, 48. So really nice specs on this one. Now this one in particular has the regular Invicta bracelet, nothing to write home about. Press stamped metal push pins, and there's the exhibition case back, which is also flame fusion. But this watch in particular, when you're comparing this one to Nautis, Nautis is a micro brand and Invicta is pretty mainstream. Whether people like them or not, it is a brand that sells thousands of watches per year, and this one is their best-selling watch, hands down. So this one I know is just a really nice dive watch that everybody can wear. It comes in a variety of different colorways, two-tone, different bezel inserts, and I've seen people mod these. So really nice, simple watch. One of my favorite watches actually that I have, and I wear it quite often. It does have this signed crown, and then the advertising for Invicta on the side, Invicta on the buckle, Invicta on all of those links. So this watch in particular is definitely a well-branded watch, and one that I think everybody should have, quite honestly. And now next up is the Nautis Admirality. This watch is very, very similar to the Dive Pro 200. I'll show you just how similar. They are basically almost exactly alike, as you can tell. This one's in the black, has the black bezel insert. This one's got the blue. The big difference is the solid stainless steel bracelet that comes with it. Sorry, my brain had a brain freeze. This is a pretty nice bracelet, even though it is just got the press stamped screw down crown, screw down case back with all the information on it. As you can see from here, solid end links, and when I tell you that this bracelet is substantial, it is substantial. This watch in particular, when you put it on the wrist, it does feel like a much more expensive watch than it is, and it feels like a much more expensive watch than the Invicta Pro Diver. And it has to do with that solid construction on this bracelet. Very, very nicely done. Again, this one has a signed crown, the other one does not. The finish on it is very, very nicely done. 120 click unidirectional bezel, which I didn't mention on the other two watches, but all of the watches that I'm showing you today have 120 click unidirectional bezel. This one has a black bezel insert. The Cyclops at the 3 o'clock. This is a quartz movement, just like the other one. And the dimensions are probably going to be almost exactly the same. So 44.5, not counting the Cyclops, 13.5, and lug to lug of just over 51. So now I don't have a scale, but I can tell you that this is a hefty watch, especially when you compare it to even this one. You can tell it is a little bit bigger. The dial's much bigger, but also the heft on it. Definitely a bigger, stronger watch. I'm not going to put them all on right now. I'll do that later in the video, but I do want to show you how nice this looks. Very, very well done bracelet. It does have just push pins with several different adjustments, micro adjustments on the bracelet. But again, very nice watch. Now, this watch retails for well over $150, almost $200 last time I checked. Would I pay that much for it? Probably not. I would definitely pay $100 for it, considering the specs that it has. 200 meters water resistance, screw down crown, like I said. It does have the mineral crystals, so it's pretty tough. And the stainless steel construction of the bracelet and the case make this a very, very nice piece to own. It's definitely a step up from the Pro Diver, and one of my purchases from last year that I really, really enjoy, because it just feels totally different on the stainless steel. Now, like I said, I do have two other Nautises. I have another one on a silicone band, and then I have one on a NATO band. So it's nice to have all different types of bands on them, because you can just, change them around. Now, one thing that Nautis did do that's pretty clever is the holes and drilling on these cases for the Admiral are different from the Dive Pro. And they're also different from another watch that they carry. So you can't just swap them out. It's a little frustrating at times when you want to swap them out, but you can get a different bracelet. So that's this one. And last but not least is going to be my newest Pro Diver. This is model number 29176, and this is their newer style, bigger case. This just happens to have the Pepsi bezel, but this one also comes on the Jubilee bracelet, which I have to say Invicta did a pretty good job. Has just enough flex in it to wear very comfortably. This does have the bigger case, so let's just take a look here real quick, because compared to the other Pro Diver, this one is 42.5 and 13.9, so 14 in height, and that has to do a lot with that exhibition case. Signed crown, and just a very clean, simple design. And obviously you can tell where it gets its inspiration from. If you don't, then you should look on the internet, because they're everywhere. Again, it does have that extra branding on the side. Let me just go ahead and polish this real quick. Shine it up. All right, so this one again, even though it's on the Jubilee bracelet, just the press stamp. There's the exhibition case back, which is sporting that NH35 Seiko movement with the Invicta yellow rotor. Now this watch I reviewed not too long ago and compared it to the Parnis GMT. The reason I'm putting it in this video is because it is a Pro Diver. It does have the 200 meters water resistance. It's in the same size, and I would say that for the price, if you want to get something a little bit sportier and not as toolish, because it comes on the Jubilee bracelet and it has the Pepsi style bezel, I think this is a very good competition for this watch. They're both about the same size, even though case-wise the Nautis is a little bit thicker, as you can see, and they both have the screw-down crown, screw-down back. They both have a Cyclops addition to it, 120 click rotating bezel. The bracelets are extremely different. This watch is much lighter than this watch. And this is one of my favorite watches to wear, actually. I very much enjoy it. Even though it's a little bit bigger than the regular Pro Diver, it doesn't wear very big. And if you've been keeping up with the trends on the Invictas, you know that most of their watches are very, very big. This one in particular wears very, very nicely. Does not feel like you're wearing a huge watch, even at 43 millimeters. So one of my favorite. Now, let's bring them all back and just take a look here real quick and see what we got and where our price points are, what our value is. I don't like the phrase value proposition because that's really up to the buyer, but I'll show you the four different ones again. We've got the Dive Pro, which is 200 meters water resistant screw down crown, stainless steel case, screw down back. This one is on a silicone aftermarket band that I bought. I would say this is a wonderful watch if you can pick it up anywhere between $50 and $75, which if you scour the internet, you will be able to do that. The Pro Diver 8926, the classic Invicta Pro Diver, 40 millimeters, stainless steel case, screw down crown, exhibition back, stainless steel bracelet, even though it's not the best. And it does have 200 meters of water resistant, 120 click unidirectional bezel. This one in particular is wonderful bezel action, very stiff as far as not moving around. It doesn't have any back plate, so really nice purchase. The Nautis Admirality, which is also very similar to the Dive Pro. This one does have a signed crown, stainless steel case, screw down case back, 120 click unidirectional bezel, and a very nicely done stainless steel bracelet, even though it's got the pressed double deployment release. Still a very, very well done bracelet. This one in particular, now I didn't give the price on this one. Again, this Invicta Pro Diver you can find online anywhere from $50 to $80, sometimes $89, depending on where you're looking. I know when Amazon does their Black Friday sales, this watch is very, very well discounted. Now, I've had this one in particular for over 5 years, and it's still going. It has the NH35 in there, so it's a workhorse. It's going to keep going. This one in particular, it sells for over $150, which is a good deal considering the specs that you get with it. However, I would say that if you can find it for $100, you've got yourself a great bargain. And then, of course, this Pro Diver, the bigger case, the 44 or 43 millimeter case on the Jubilee bracelet. I've seen this, I'm not going to say the retail price because we all know about Invicta and the retail pricing, but I've seen this for sale for just over $129. And even at that price, I think it's a great, great deal. If you can find it for less, definitely jump on it because it is a really nice watch. I get a lot of compliments on it, and it just wears very, very well. I do wish it didn't have the extra branding, but what can you do? You know, I'm just happy that they made this Pepsi bezel. This one in particular was a gift from my buddy JD, so special thanks for that. So there you have it. 4 budget-friendly dive watches from 2 different brands that go anywhere from $50 to $130 that I think really, really, really give you some good bang for the buck. And I'm going to pop some loom shots at the end of the video and put them on my wrist so you guys can see them. Again, this is Papa Bear. I do want to thank you guys for hanging around with me through the difficult times of the end of last year and this year with all my health issues that I had. My goal is to start making more videos this year. I know that it's a difficult time for everybody as far as the uncertainty with this COVID going around, and just stay safe with your family and friends and your loved ones, and we will see you next time on the channel.